I think a lot of times people, especially the dads, once they start having kids and everything, they feel like, like back in the day, I had the time to work out and all this stuff. And, I'm a father now. I don't have time to do that. And that's what I'm trying to change too. Is like, no, you more than ever need to be, prioritize your fitness and health, because it's not just you anymore. It's your little ones that you have, your family that you've made that are counting on you.
Discipline and drive, personal trainer mindset, helping you thrive. Raise a glass, let's level up your health. This is cheers to health.
Here we go. Welcome back to another episode of Cheers to Health. Of course, you got to have Brian. Watch out now! Brian Torres in the house. And of course, you got to have Omar Torres here with me. And we've got a special guest with us today. Omar, will you take it from there, my friend?
Yes. So today we have Nick Kempen. So he is a trainer and he's been training. He started this thing called the NLC Fitness, and he helps busy dads, busy parents, right? Or just busy dads?
Busy dads, specifically anybody.
Oh yeah. And with that, he builds their programs. He helps them with nutrition. But the biggest thing is he makes sure it's sustainable. He makes sure it's in there for the long run. But hey, tell us about it, Nick. Tell us how you got started, how you got into this fitness journey, and why you're helping people.
Absolutely, man. First of all, thank you for having me on board. I appreciate the opportunity. I've always been into fitness and, being active all my life. And, long story short, I was in sports, like most kids are through high school, played baseball in college. And like most, baseball players, they all want to be a professional baseball player. And so I kept going down that road until it told me I wasn't good enough to play anymore. But through college, I changed career a few times, and I started, my first class that I took was a anatomy class and a dementia class. And for whatever reason, that kind of like really stuck to me. And, I started doing more anatomy classes and realized that the field of physical education was kind of the direction I wanted to go into. And I at first was like, I don't want to be a PE teacher. No offense to any PE teachers, but, I didn't want that. But, talking to some people, they're like, no, you could do physical therapy, you could do athletic training. You could do personal training. And I was kind of like, if I don't become a professional baseball player, I'm like, I don't want anything to do with these sports guys because I'm going to be too jealous that I'm working with them and they're in the position I want to be in. But the more and more I went down with the education of just the body, how it works, why it breaks down, and stuff like that, it just glued to me more and more. So my first internship I had to do for school, most internships you don't get paid for. And so I was like, well, maybe I could find one that you would get paid for. And so I took a internship as a personal trainer at Lifetime Fitness in the Chicagoland area. And it was a paid internship. I was like, great. And those 3 months really like opened my eyes to like what personal training was really all about. And it was great. I had a great time. And after those 3 months, they offered me a job to be a personal trainer. And I've been a trainer ever since, working with the general public, working with athletes, specifically young athletes, and going from there. So moved down to Miami 22 years ago. 22 years ago for a personal training position at a corporate gym here, and took the opportunity, came down, and been down here ever since. So it's just something I really am very passionate about. And again, just knowing about the body more and more, and again, diseases and why it breaks down. It's really kind of made me want to stay on this path and help people become fitter and more healthy and improve their, overall vitality and longevity as much as possible.
Mm-hmm. After party at Nick's house, Nick's in Miami, we about to turn up. Woohoo! Let's go!
Let's go.
It's cold down here. You got to bring some coats though.
I'm in Colorado.
Really? You're in Colorado? All right.
Yeah. I gotta escape these fires. It's been really windy and dry.
Yeah, I heard about
so many fires out here. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Right on, man. That's awesome. So you started this journey you started because of an anatomy class. Shoot. Whenever I was taking anatomy, I was like, dude, I just gotta memorize all these stuff. Yeah. I was like, but then you start really relating it to what you want to do, and you start understanding like, shoot, this is actually pretty interesting. But at the beginning, just like any subject. Yeah.
Right. The dementia class actually was really kind of opened my eyes to it, and
Oh
the
yeah.
anatomy just happened to be there at the same time, and I was like, "Well, wait a minute." But yeah, it was I don't know, it just looking back on everything, it was just like, wow, it was kinda like meant to be. I never thought I was going into engineering and through college.
Wow.
And with that, it was taking me out of baseball. And I was like, you know what? I want baseball to tell me you're not good enough to play. I don't want to remove myself from the
Yeah.
game. And so I remember my dad saying, like, you really are gonna change I'm like, yeah. I'm like, I want to keep playing ball. And he's like, all right. And yeah, it worked out. So
Omar's
Yeah,
got a
there's
similar story like that. Omar, you
yeah.
want to tell him the story that I guess we've been Omar, he goes down this go ahead, Omar.
No, no,
I
no.
know
I
I'll
was
catch
just
you
gonna
up quick.
say,
I
people
got
don't
you, got you.
understand. People don't understand when you are an athlete and you love a sport so much, it's hard to get separated from it. I was a
absolutely.
bull rider for 14 years, and I was doing the
Yeah.
similar thing where I was going to college, yeah, but I was trying to get a scholarship as a bull rider, and I made the team and everything. But oh man, that's a whole different thing, and it was just too expensive. I wasn't able to make it, and it was just like okay. Still pursued it. I still tried to be a professional bull rider through the military and stuff, but reality hit in. Like, dude, it ain't for you. You're getting older and then I started a family. But yeah, that's what happens, man. Sometimes but
Yeah.
even now, I bet you still dream about those times, or you still dream about, "I might make my comeback and just show
It's
out."
like actually, yeah, it's funny because I had so when I came down here, I played semi-pro up in Chicago for a team. When I moved down here to Miami, I was like, I got to find a men's team, and I played many years down here in a men's team. It wasn't semi-pro, but it was pretty big, and wood bat league and all that kind of stuff. It was a lot of fun. Um, and one of the guys I play with, he still plays, and he puts together a team and everything. Anyway, he contacted me not too long ago. He was going up to Cooperstown this summer to play in a tournament. And he's like, "Hey man," he goes, "I need some players." And I was like, "Dude," I'm like, "I have not played I haven't played in about 9 years since my daughter. My daughter was born 8 years ago, so I stopped playing right before then." Um, and yeah, it's taking too much time and
Yep.
work and all that other stuff. And I was like, if I loved it, I love playing, and I
Mhm.
still would like to play, but just other responsibilities come up, and it was
Yep.
time to just I guess what they say, hang the glove up or something. But I miss
Yeah, you
it, but
got
at the same
your globe
time, I'm
up.
like, I totally understand what you're talking about.
No, yeah, 'cause that's what happened. Well, actually, my firstborn he went to a rodeo, but he was a baby, and yeah, I think that was like one of the last times I ever rode. And then we ended up getting stationed to Germany. But yeah,
Oh yeah.
I probably would have came back and still rode, but the company that moved our stuff down here freaking messed up my bull riding gear. It all got what is it called? Molded up, so they
Mhm.
had to
Oh,
get rid of it.
Oh,
And it was expensive,
dude,
and it was
bull
first
riding is no
time.
joke, man.
yeah.
Oh
I've
yeah, I
never
can't be
bull
doing that.
ride, but I had
I
a
can't be doing that.
my cousin's husband was a bull rider, and that was some crazy stuff.
Yeah, it's a
Just the
whole
stories that
yeah.
I've heard. So
Oh, yeah. So even with, like, baseball, though, um, if you do go back or if you ever, like, go back, even just, like, softball, that's what people do, right, is they go play softball. Um, that takes a toll on your shoulder and stuff, especially, repetitive of, throwing and whatnot.
yeah.
So what kinda exercises would you recommend somebody trying to go back out there and throw that ball?
That's a good question because usually with those people with the softball, I mean, they're weekend warriors, right? They don't do anything during the
Mhm.
week,
Yep.
or
Yeah.
maybe they have 1 or 2 games or something. But like, there's really a lack of practice and all that kind of stuff, and that's one big reason why I stopped playing myself was because during the week I wasn't doing anything practice wise. I wasn't throwing the ball, I wasn't swinging, I wasn't doing all that stuff. It was just games on Sunday, which was great. And being, I guess, in my position as a trainer and working out and all that stuff, I was able to keep my body fairly limber. But one day, man, after playing, one game or even a doubleheader, next day, I
Mhm.
mean, shoulder sore, this sore, everything like that. It's not the same. So for those guys, and people are like, oh, there's softball leagues, you get into that, and they're a lot of fun. But at the same time, you get so many people can get hurt, and I'm not
Yeah.
trying to say this to like tell everybody not
It's
to do this, but like
yeah.
to answer your question, like try to mimic exercises that you would be doing
Mhm.
on the field. You're going to be doing a lot of stopping, going, lateral movements.
Yep.
You're going to be obviously throwing the ball, swinging the bat. So doing exercises that are going to help with the rotator cuff muscles, the shoulder muscles, rotation exercises, and then even if you don't have anybody to play catch with or anything like that, if you have a gym that you can throw even a light medicine ball against a wall or something to get that type of, or you don't have to throw it, just going through the movement of throwing lightly, just to get those muscles used to like slowing the pattern down, bringing it back, all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of things, sports specific exercises you can do for any sport for that matter. But, those type of things, sprinting, how many people you hear like, oh,
That's true.
I tore my
Yep.
Achilles or pulled my hamstring or something like that. And, nothing's guaranteed for not allowing for an injury to occur. But, you know, getting on, whether it's a treadmill or better yet, being outside or, something, just doing like sprint work, just to get your body ready for those type of movements for if it's only a weekend type of game that you're playing in. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's like
that's
what
what I
they
was about
say
to
is
say.
practice like you play.
yeah, exactly.
Because the biggest thing because I played on a softball team for my work one time. It didn't
Mhm.
last very long because the biggest energy were people just taking off from hitting the ball. They would try taking off and pull something or hurt
Oh
something or
yeah.
Mhm.
just run into that, like say, pulling a hammy or whatever it might be.
Yep.
And then I did it again over here at this other job where it was staff versus the kids. And this guy was, again, just hit the ball and tried to take off running, blew out his knee. I
Yeah.
was just like, oh, like y'all, I don't know what y'all think this is, some tryout or something, but it's not. It's not that
Yes, y
serious. So
Well,
calm
yeah, that
guys
too. And
ain't
you got
y'all.
the guys that, they're like, You're not getting paid $1,000,000 to play the softball game.
down. Yeah,
Why?
I was just
Like,
like,
this is for fun,
yeah.
You get that
But you
competitive
gotta
edge.
show out though. Like you
I know
gotta make sure
hey,
you're
I did,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
again, you gotta still be mobile. You still gotta stretch. You still gotta be used to
Yeah,
doing these
that's true.
movements. You can't just get off the couch after being on the couch for
Oh
however
yeah,
long.
no, you can't be doing
Right.
Expect
that.
to go out there and I mean, if you're about that life, you better be ready for that life.
Yeah. And yeah,
Yep.
absolutely. I mean, a lot of people, like for a lot of my clients, they like to play, golf and tennis, right? Especially the
Mhm.
older population.
Yep.
Or now pickleball or
Yep.
what's the other one that's like pickleball?
Racquetball.
Racquetball,
Tennis.
Cricket.
cricket. No, not cricket.
No, not cricket. What?
I mean, if you're into cricket, that's cool.
I was trying to
Yeah.
say
Padel,
something to
paddle
see if
or
you
whatever it's
disagree
called.
with it.
But
Ping pong.
ping pong. I love ping pong.
Ooh, I love
I
ping
Um,
love
pong
ping
too.
pong.
but same thing. Like they're all day long or all week long. They don't do much. They usually have an office job or something like that, and then they go to the tennis court or whatever, and they're trying to play, and they end up their knee getting hurt or their elbow, their shoulder, or something. They're just not used to that. So most of my clients are, the general pop type of fitness, they want to lose weight, be strong, look good, feel good type of things. And knowing that, yeah, I play tennis on the weekends or even during the week or whatever, like, all right, well, we're going to do some other exercises too to kind of at least, get your body more prepared for those type of movements that you're going to do on the court or, or on the golf course, stuff like that. So you got to kind of, knowing that might not be their goal, but I'm always like, all right, I don't want you to be on the tennis court and being all stiff and rigid and then end up pulling, a hamstring
Yep.
or an Achilles or your knee goes out or something like that. So we got to do these type of movements also because you're going to be doing them out there anyway. The
Yeah,
funny
'cause
part
Mhm.
is when the clients come up and they're like, oh, I can't do a squat because my knee's sore. I'm like, dude, you're playing 2 hours of tennis on the weekends. I'm like,
yeah, yep.
that's going to do more damage to your knee than doing this slow and
Mhm.
controlled squat, and they're
Yep.
like, oh, no, I can't do that. So sometimes they're a little hard headed and you got to get through to them. But
Let's just sit down and then get back up. Sit
yeah,
down and get
exactly. I'm
back
like,
up.
did you
We're
sit in
good.
your chair today? Did you sit on the
Right.
toilet? Yeah, okay, that's a squat.
Yeah. And
So
one of the big movements that people neglect is those lateral movements.
yeah,
And especially as we get older, I mean, because we're just going straight in a linear motion most of the time. But if
right.
you're trying to play, especially if you're trying to play sports like that, going side to side, it's important to get those dang glute knees going, get those hips protected. Because yeah, it goes down, messing up
Yeah.
them knees, break a hip because you fell over. Boom.
That's a big
Yeah.
difference too for, you fall or whatever. It's difference between just bruising your hip and versus breaking your hip,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
So going back, Nick, what made you come up with the idea of building this brand? Is it NLC?
LC.
NLC. It's on your shirt too, and I'm over here
Yeah.
trying to read it. There we go. Look at that.
Yeah.
Nice,
You
dude.
don't need to see my face.
NLC
Just look at the
Fitness.
logo.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Boom.
So I, again, being down here in a corporate gym for a long time, I was definitely for a while on that fence of like, should I go on my own? Should I not? And then also I wanted it. And when I was finally made the decision to go on my own, I'm like, all right, this is what I do. And so I want to, make my own company. So then I was just thinking about what am I going to call it, and then I was like, all right, going through different names and stuff like that, and like Nick Fitness. No, I came up with NLC. It just stands for Next Level Coaching and Fitness.
Oh,
I
okay.
Um,
like it.
just
I
because,
like
yeah. Um, and that's what I wanted to. Well, that's what I chose it to do, and brand it for me. And it's now that I'm on my own. I've been on my own independently for 9 years. Yeah, about nine
Okay.
years.
Oh wow.
And
Heck yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where being your own company and being the sole person, only person on it, if it works, you made it work. If it doesn't work, you didn't, you dropped the ball, in my opinion. So
Right
it's
on you.
another way of helping push, me to push myself to keep. Yeah, you get your clients, but obviously now I got to deal with the marketing aspect and advertising, all that kind
Yeah.
of stuff, sales and blah blah stuff that like the big corporate gyms will do for you. You're just there at the
Yep.
gym and clients are coming in basically, or potential new
Mm-hmm.
clients. So, but yeah, I wanted to, go on my own and do my own thing, and
Okay.
and
You
be
just
honest,
took that.
it's tough to having, it's tough to have a boss telling you like, oh no, you got to go clean the equipment for the
That's
next
true.
hour. I'm like, but
That's true.
you know, and I think it's great, especially as a new trainer starting up. Corporate gyms are great because the education, you're
Mm-hmm.
again, around a lot of people and you learn a lot. But I also feel like once you get to a certain level and you get your clientele build up, if this is what a person really wants to do and that's their lifestyle that they want to promote, going out on themselves or by themselves, there's pros and cons to everything, but I definitely think it's, a good thing. I mean, financially, it's usually more rewarding to be by yourself. But then
Mm-hmm.
again, there's a lot of other things that you start to have to, deal with on your own. So
Yeah. No, that's true. Shoot, I started in Germany. So I would, yeah, like I said, we got out of Germany, or got out of we were in Virginia at first, and then we got
okay.
stationed in Germany. That's when I started training.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, like I was working for the base gym, and
Mhm.
it was like I was on my own. So I wasn't sure, like, am I doing this right? Like
Yeah,
they'll
yeah,
give me like documents and stuff. But yeah, having a gym, like a corporate gym or something like that, it's awesome because you get those reps in. You get to collaborate with other trainers that might be in
right.
the similar field of what you're trying to do. So you can kind of bounce ideas off each other. But
Absolutely.
yeah, at the end of the day, like you're saying, like I mean, if you really want to do this and you enjoy doing it, you don't want to be under somebody's, thumb or something like that to get your quotas or whatever it is. I
Right.
mean, if you're doing your
And there's
thing
nothing
and you're
wrong with that
enjoying it,
either.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, it depends on the person too. If
Yep,
some people,
exactly.
some friends that have, that are still in the corporate setting, and they like being there, and it's,
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, wasn't for me anymore. I got what I needed
Oh,
out of
yeah.
it. It was time,
Heck
hopefully
yeah.
Yeah.
progress, move on.
Yeah. So what made you just go specializing in 40-year-old men, I guess, like busy
Well, I
dudes?
think, as far as that, having that niche, I'm 47 myself, with a
I
child,
thought you were
and
27, dude.
I appreciate it. That's why
Yeah.
I wear the
Shout
hat.
out to you, Nick. Yeah. Shout out to you.
So, but yeah, I wanted to pick, as a father myself and being in, I guess, the older ages, I wanted to stick with that because I just knowing that a lot of my clients who are older men, 40 or older, they're busy with their lifestyle and all that stuff, and they're busy with work and family and what most people are going through. R- but priority wise, as far as health and fitness, they also see that being very important. And it was something I could
Mm-hmm.
relate to better. I'm not 20
Yeah.
years old anymore, and it's hard to as a 20-year-old, you can't relate to the 40-year-olds or 50-year-olds because you're not there. You don't have the
Mm-hmm.
experience like that. And as 40 and 50-year-old or whatever, it's hard to relate to, or you can relate to them because you have the experience. Like, hey, when I was that age, I understand what you're going through. But they're looking for something else, and it's just something
Yeah.
that, like, 40 or over dads, or even if you're in your 30s and you're a dad or whatever, that starts then too. It was just a way to kind of put myself out there and try to be an example towards those fathers, or men that are in their 40s or older and they want to be fit or they want to get back into fitness. I think a lot
Mm-hmm.
of times people, especially the dads, once they start having kids and everything, they feel like, like, oh, back in the day, I had the time
Oh,
to
yeah.
work out and all this stuff. And, I'm a father now. I don't have time to do that. And that's what I'm trying to change too, is like, no, you more than ever need to be, prioritize your
Yep.
fitness and health, because it's not just you anymore. It's your little ones that you have. your family that you've made that are counting on you, and
Yep.
in my opinion, your workout, whatever your workout is, that should be your most important, half hour of that day. Because
Oh
if you
yeah.
become, you guys read the saying, or you've seen it, everything's important until you become sick. And then the only thing that is important is you becoming not sick, or, becoming healthy again. Everything else doesn't
Yep.
matter. So if you become sick and you can't take care of your family, you can't go to work, what's the point of working, so hard? So if you're not prioritizing your health and fitness, yeah, you may be able to go a long time, but eventually it's going to catch up to you, And
Yep.
so the
Mhm.
younger you start, the easier it's going to be longer in the long run.
Yeah. No, that's something that we talk about all the time is it's about longevity. It's not just about we want to stay fit or we want to look good or whatever right now, blah blah blah. No, this is for the long run. Like this isn't
Absolutely.
just one of those, what is it called, like a yo-yo diet kind of deal where you just stick to it for a certain amount of time. Oh, this is for the
Right.
long run. We
Lifestyle.
want to
Yep.
make sure we're sticking around for our kids, our grandkids, or whatever it is, and
Absolutely.
nieces, nephews. We want to be able to hang with them and
Yes.
never. And I always say this: it's like I'm never gonna let my dang kids ever beat me at anything.
Right.
So I got to make sure that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
Absolutely.
ain't
You
coming
want
close to
to,
me.
step the
they
game
want
up,
to go
Omar.
play. They want to go for a bike ride, run, or whatever.
Yeah,
You don't wanna be like, "Oh, daddy's tired, I can't," or, "Oh, I can't,"
Mhm.
whatever it may be. It's like, no, you wanna do it. Now, you're not
Mhm.
gonna probably have the energy and stamina and the strength you did maybe when you're in 20 and 30
that's
years
true.
old,
Yeah.
but it's not like you said, it's not about that anymore. It's about strength and stamina, but it's about, being able to, you know, um, be independent as you get
Yep.
older. And,
Yep.
more importantly, in your 60s, 70s, 80s, I wanna be a person in my 80s still doing stuff like, what are you doing? Like right now, even at my age, 47, I have people like, dude, why are you still working out that way? I'm like, why are you not working out that
Yeah,
way?
exactly. Yep.
I'm working out this way
Right.
because I can, and I still
Mhm.
do. And, again, the saying, you don't use it, you lose it. So,
Yep.
Boom.
um,
Exactly.
and I want to be doing this for a long time, and I'm definitely, if you know me, like outside of the gym, like, yeah, I'm a person I practice what I preach. Like, hey, I gotta go get my workout in. But I'm also like,
Mhm.
hey, you want to go grab a beer? Hell yeah, I'll go grab a beer.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm
Yep.
not to the extreme at either end. I
Yeah.
try to live a balanced life, and I think whatever that balance is
Exactly.
for each person is different. But I definitely prioritize, again, health,
Yep.
fitness, and then you got to enjoy some things also. But
Yeah. And that's the thing too. A lot of people think it's got to be strict like, "Oh, I can't do that because then I have to stick to this blah blah
okay,
blah." No, dude. It's all about balance. And
Yep.
yeah,
the thing that we say is it's all about harmony, because it's not always going to be one side is better than the other. It's like everything has to come together. I mean, especially, you have a family, you got your clients, you got your business, and then you want to, enjoy yourself. I mean, you can't
right,
just
Mm.
do training 24/7 and you're gonna freaking get
right,
burnt out and you're gonna be
Yep.
right,
like, "Oh shoot, dude, like
There you go.
why?"
Yep.
No, you gotta enjoy yourself a little bit. Treat yourself.
And
for
that's why
sure,
That
people
with
get
the
burnt out.
yeah,
yeah,
They
exactly,
wanna
dude.
just hit it hard, do it, wait, no, I gotta do this, I gotta do this, and then a weekend, if a month at the most, maybe, they're like, "Oh, but what happened?" Like, "Oh, no, I did this, I drank this." "Okay, that's fine.
It's like
Let's
get
get
back
back
on
to it."
track, dude.
yeah,
Yeah,
It's like, "Nah, I
get back
really
to it.
broke it," and that's why
yeah.
we don't
Well,
do that.
they let one time screw up the rest of their week or something.
Yep.
Mhm.
Hey, it's your best friend's birthday or whatever. Go out, have a pizza with them, whatever they want. Know that you're gonna do
Mhm.
it once, but the next day you're gonna get back on track.
Yep.
So
Yeah. And
it's
that's what
easy,
messes up a lot
easier
of
said than
people.
done. But I mean,
Yeah.
Just gotta do
practice.
it. Just gotta do
Yep.
it.
Yeah, it's building those habits.
Hmm.
But that's where people slip up though is they feel so restricted. So let's say you have I mean, it's hard to be one of those like a physique bodybuilder person because I mean, you got to stay on it. But not everybody has to do that.
No,
That's
Mhm.
just those specific people. Everybody else doesn't have to be spot on everything. You're going to have times where you slip up. It's okay.
right?
It's okay. But people think one mess up and then they're done.
They're
And
done.
that's what messes up their whole process where it's like, shoot.
Yeah.
Then
Why
I'm
do I
just gonna
keep doing
go
this? Right.
continue it on. Then I'm just gonna keep eating pizza every day. Like,
Right.
no, dude,
Mhm.
stop.
You know,
Get back to it.
and another thing, going along with what you said too, is like people see these males and females that have these amazing bodies, right? but they think that that's sustainable or 24/7, 365 days a week. They always look that way. Some are freak of natures and some people do have that type of body, but most don't. And usually when you
Yep.
see stuff like that, it's like, you don't know what they did to get to that, and
Mhm.
is it sustainable, which chances are probably not for at least all year round. Now, it doesn't mean you can't look great all year round, but a lot of times people get it in their head like, oh, look at that guy's at 6% body fat. He's got crazy abs. Look at his Bilbo. I'm like, yeah, he probably just got done doing a fitness competition,
Yep.
and,
Yep.
and he had to do that, but,
Mhm.
he's not living that way all the time. So
Yeah.
that's
No,
tough.
that's
But
true.
yeah,
A lot of people get that comparison thing, and then it throws them off, and they're just like, "Oh, no, dude, worry about yourself.
right.
Mhm.
It's gonna make you feel better. It's gonna just." That's why I gotta tell my kids too. It's like, "Worry about yourself." They're always
Yeah.
trying to tell each other what to do. It's like, no.
It's like what your parents used to tell you when you were a kid, like,
Right?
by
Mm.
yourself.
Right?
Like, what does
Yeah,
that
Omar,
mean?
back off,
Now we
dude.
Now
do.
I
Worry about
gotta
yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right, dude. Now I gotta worry about them.
Yeah.
But, so what are the biggest differences that you see when training 40-year-old plus that you wouldn't, like, I guess, necessarily, prescribe to a younger person? I
I
guess.
think the biggest difference is probably mobility,
Yeah.
stability,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. And because you can't build strength off a body that's unstable, and weak, right? So like a scaffolding, if you got a scaffolding, you're not going to climb that scaffolding, if all the nuts and bolts aren't nice and tight and it's sturdy. The body's kind of that way too in some regards because if you're weak, you don't have very good stability. You don't have very good, internal strength, so to speak. A lot of
Mhm.
people kind of bypass that and they try to get, especially the older population, the 40-year-olds, 50s, whatever. They're like, oh, I used to do this when I was younger. Let me just get on the
Yep.
bench again and do, throw up
Yep.
325 like I used to. Oh, now my shoulder's killing me, whatever it may
Yeah,
be.
exactly.
A lot of times you kind of like get back to the roots of things for a lot of people. Because a lot of people at that age too, it's been a while since they've worked out or been, consistent in
Yeah.
fitness.
Mhm. Yep.
So it's like, all right, cool. Yeah, you could do that now and then, but like we need to take a few steps back. Let's get you
Yep.
moving better, mobility wise, so that way biomechanically your body's better, which means,
Mhm.
joint forces and all that stuff aren't, for lack of a better term, a negative aspect to you. But
Mhm.
and get you moving better first before we start to really, like, yeah, we'll get there. We'll get back to that strength phase and everything, but let's get you moving better. Let's get everything moving better first. Whereas a younger person at 20 or they usually are moving good. They're not, the mobility part is still there. They don't have to work on the flexibility as much and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
now again, I've seen some teenagers that are just like, dude, you have like the tightest hamstrings ever. Like, how is this?
Mm.
So it does happen that way, and
Yeah.
obviously vice versa. But that's probably the biggest difference with the older. I don't want to use the word older, but yeah, the 40-year-olds plus is just they kind of have their mentality like, oh yeah, I used to work out 20 years ago. I need to get back into that. And you're like, yeah, okay, cool, we'll get there, but let's take a couple steps back for a little bit. Let's, kind of prime the body first and get you,
Yep.
used to doing this stuff, and before we get back to that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Slow and
Absolutely.
steady wins the race.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah.
'Cause
Because
we have a lot of
yeah.
people like we've talked about this before. We have a lot of folks who we try to, bring in a train or whatever it is, or just work out with who back whenever they were in high school or, they used to do this. I'm like, cool story, bro. That's cool. We're right now, we're right here. Okay.
Right.
So we're gonna start off with low weight. Okay. Because I want you to come back tomorrow. Because if you try to do this heavyweight, you ain't gonna come back tomorrow. So we're
Right.
gonna
Yeah.
start
Exactly.
and do these reps, and we're gonna do them good. Okay. Once you graduate from this weight, we can go up. But until then, we got to wake up the muscles. We got to make sure everything is stretched out and everything's good. So the next weeks we can bump up the weights and see if you're ready for that. But
Right.
what you did 2 years ago, if not 10 years ago, that ain't who we are today. Sorry to break your heart here, but
Right.
that's not where we're at. So let's
And we
let's
doing
we
that.
can get
Yeah.
back there. So let's start training. Let's get this wheel we're going. But we can't try to start off where we left off 10 years ago.
Right.
Exactly, dude. Shoot, that's always. I see people complaining about shoulders and stuff, and I'm like, dude, how'd you hurt yourself? And that's another thing too, is like people limit themselves. They say, oh, I got this hurt shoulder or I got this hurt knee. I can't do this or that. It's like, if you really want to do something, we can work on it and we can make it work.
Mhm.
Oh,
Unless
100%.
a doctor says otherwise, like unless like something crazy's happening, we'll work on it. I'm not saying
Yep.
that you're gonna be squatting 400 pounds or whatever, but what I'm saying is you're gonna be able to get that range of motion,
There,
or, ease that pain because there's probably some weakness of
there it
muscle
is.
there. So
Yeah.
let's work on it.
Yep.
And a lot of
This
times
this this thing. Yeah, go ahead.
no, I was just saying, to go along with that, it's like it's just years of repetitive pattern of incorrect movement,
Hmm.
or there was an injury once, and there's a compensation pattern takes over, and then again years and years of that compensation, and then yeah, my shoulder, it's been hurting always, or I can't go up too far this way because it's pain, and they, like you said, they avoid those types of movements. Where when that does happen, I'm like, if you should step back and like, all right, let's fix, or let's
Yep.
make this better, and figure out why it's painful or why you
Yeah.
can move, And again, a lot of times it's because they got injured many years ago, or, and they're like, "Oh, I can't do that anymore because that's how I got injured. So I just avoid that altogether." And then, they just limit themselves from movement. And then again, over the years, that limit becomes bigger and bigger and
Yep.
bigger. And then before you know
Mhm.
it, they're like barely moving at all. And they
Yeah.
don't understand how they got there. And they just, oh, it's old age. My hips don't work the way they used to because it's just old age, or my knees are bad because it's old age. And it's not old age. It's just they didn't, take care of themselves basically.
Yeah, because then
Yeah.
you start overcompensating. Like, let's say this shoulder hurts. Now you're overcompensating this shoulder. Let's say this knee hurts. Now you're overcompensating this knee. So that's
Mhm.
how, everything starts breaking down. You don't take care of
Right.
it. Yeah. Now you're going to overcompensate this shoulder or this hand or whatever it might be. So like, you got to try to take care of whatever the issues are. And so you can get better and not, strain another shoulder, strain another part of yours because they
Yeah,
all work together. As much as we don't think they do. And
they
if
do.
you try to overcompensate, guess what? This one's going
Oh,
to
yeah.
sooner or later.
And a lot of
That's how
people don't
injuries
wanna do
happen
that
too.
either,
Mhm.
because 'cause they're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, no, I'm just here to work out," or "I wanna get a workout in." Like, "Okay, but every time we try to get a workout in, then this
Yep.
hurts, and then you can't do anything." So let's,
Yeah.
again, yeah, it doesn't seem
Work
fun
with me
because we gotta
here.
take a step back, but
Yeah.
so
Mhm.
so people are
Exactly.
hard-headed,
No,
we
it
all
was
are.
Yep.
Hard to tell us like, "No,
Exactly.
I wanna do this," and it's, hard to tell yourself, "No, you need to do these things first,"
Yeah.
or
Yeah, I know, and it's hard to kind of approach that in a way that's not, like, real stern or, aggressive or whatever,
Mhm.
but it's sometimes like, "Dude, stop getting in your own way.
Sometimes you
Like, you can
sometimes you
do
gotta be
this,
that way.
bro."
I'm like, "Nah," I tell 'em
Yeah.
straight up like, "Nope, nope. Hey,
Yeah,
are you working out or you not? 'Cause we're gonna do this or we're done." Like, because sometimes I
Yeah,
feel like
and
that's how it has
it's
to be
just
sometimes with some people, not everybody, but sometimes you gotta because 'cause they're used to just being like, "Oh, no, it's okay. Like,
yeah,
nah, nah, chill out. We're gonna do it this way because if you wanna be here with me, we wanna get this workout and we're gonna do it right. Because if not,
Mhm.
you're gonna hurt yourself." Then you're like, "Well, Brian told me to do this," or, "Well, Omar." No, so we're gonna take a step back. Come with me. Come here. We're taking a step back and let's
right,
focus on this right now. Okay. Because if we keep doing this, we're gonna keep going in circles. And I ain't about that life. Okay. We don't need
right.
to go in circles. I'm trying to make you better. We're not trying to go in circles here or go backwards. So sometimes you do gotta be stern with them. I mean, this is part of y'all's job to get these guys better. So we need to be stern with them and be like, hey, this is how we're gonna do it. If you wanna you came to me because you want to be better, right? So let's get to work.
And you gotta I think that's another, like, as far as a trainer, that's another part of the art of it is you gotta be able to read your clients.
Hmm.
You gotta know which clients you can be a little bit more firm with. You gotta know which clients you gotta kinda like, "Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, okay," and
Yeah.
obviously that you only learn that over time and experience and
Hmm.
stuff like that, so but yeah, you definitely gotta know you gotta be able to read your client, and you just can't be
Yeah.
I've had many clients throughout the past who have changed trainers, and I'm like, well, "Why'd you change?" Blah blah. "Oh, they were like this," or "It was their way or no way."
That's
And
true.
I'm like, "All right,
Yeah.
I totally understand trainers. I know trainers who are very like they don't want to do it the
Yeah.
way I want them to do it. Then I'm not training them."
Oh, yeah, no.
Where I'll be like, "Okay, but for me, I'm a little bit more lenient and a little bit more easygoing in that sense because I'll be like, well, let's figure out, there's a thousand ways to skin a cat. So, let's figure
Absolutely.
out what does work for you. And okay,
Yeah.
yeah, that way wasn't working for you, but we can go this route and still get to
Hmm.
the end range or at least going towards the goals we want for that person, but in a different manner. So, and that's
Absolutely.
another part of it too. So some people
No,
can be
that's
strict and mean and, yell at and scream at, and other ones you got to be like, oh, hi.
It's okay,
It's
Yep.
darling. We're gonna
okay.
get through
Yep.
this workout. We're
Yeah,
gonna get.
Nope.
exactly.
Shut
That's
up.
true.
Shut up.
That's
Yeah,
true.
literally.
Yeah, there's a different approach to every client because you
No,
can't yeah,
absolutely.
like
Yeah.
you said, you can't
Mhm.
go in there guns blazing being like, "Okay, we're doing this." Pop, pop,
And
pop.
sometimes,
No.
like Nick was saying, they do know their bodies. They do kind of know, so that does help out.
Yeah.
To be able to let me know, does this work for you? If it doesn't, yeah,
Right.
absolutely. There's numerous other things we can do. It's not
Yeah.
always gonna be black and white. Sometimes we can go
No,
and do this other workout that's gonna work even better for you, but what we're used to or we wanna do is this, but if that doesn't work, cool. Like, that's where the communication comes, that's where knowing your partner, whoever you're working out with, whatever it is,
mhm,
communicate with that. If that's not working for you, cool. I mean, we got plenty of other options. Let's try
Oh,
something
yeah,
new.
exactly.
There's
Yeah, you're not
that's
gonna be
it can be fun,
perfect.
and learn. I don't mind learning. If you wanna teach me something new, come on, I'm all for it.
yeah, and
Yeah.
it could be like it's it's funny, it's like one thing when I was in the corporate gym, I did a lot of the education for the trainers and, especially the new trainers coming up, and, there was always a group of trainers that did it, and part of my education part was, the basically the art of designing programs for a client, and then a big thing we always told them is, and I learned from other people too, is that, when you see another trainer doing an exercise with a client, don't just all of a sudden be like, "Oh, well, that's wrong. That's horrible. I don't know why
Yeah,
their
yeah,
trainers doing," because as long as in some sense, obviously you can't be overboard and just do some crazy stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah,
if you have a reason for what you're doing and you can back that reason up, well, I'm having this person do this exercise this way because X, Y, Z, and there's guidelines always to follow, but
mhm,
like, all right, that makes sense why you would have that person do it, and they're not doing it in a way that could injure themselves obviously or anything
yeah,
like that, or that's again the art of programming and the art of training and exercise. There's million exercises you can do. I
yeah,
mean, you can take one exercise. There's 7 fundamental movements, and out of those 7 fundamental movements for the body, I mean, you come up with probably 1,000 different variations
yeah.
of each one. So
Mhm.
there's never a
'Cause
right.
that is a really good way to approach it too. Because I mean, there's been some people who, I think are new or maybe are doing a workout that you might not know, be like, "Hey, what are you working on there?"
Yeah,
That's
And
true.
then
Do it.
if you realize that, "Hey, maybe that's not the best approach to it," then that's where you kinda got 'em like, "Hey, man, just a thought here if you wanna try this. I think it'd be better to keep those elbows tucked in here and, really focus on the contraction
right.
there instead of doing whatever you're doing here. Maybe let's just tighten it up a little bit. Stick that chest out and let's get everything tightened up a little bit."
Yeah.
'Cause a lot of times, a
Absolutely.
lot of new folks or a lot of times we don't know how to approach people who maybe need that help, but if we just go about it, like, in a nice way, like, "Hey, what are you working on there?" 'Cause or maybe they're doing something that I haven't heard of, like, "Okay, cool,
Yeah,
my fault.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
you
yeah,
keep
there's a
doing
lot of
what you're
times I'm
doing
like,
then."
"Oh, that's cool, that's
Yeah.
interesting. Alright, I like that."
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So sometimes you're like, "Okay, yeah, no, you keep doing that. I might have to try it now."
Yeah, yeah, right. I always try when I see something different or new, I'm always like, "Alright, I kinda see," I'm like, "Let me try it out," and then
Yeah.
you gotta know what it's doing, right? Before you start having
Mhm.
other people do it, so,
Yeah.
you learn.
No, that's true. That's one thing because we always say, I mean, around the gym environment, it's good to help each other out. If you need a spot, blah blah blah. Be
Mm,
nice, socialize, say what's up, how you doing? Because I mean, that's like a social aspect. When going into that realm of getting comfortable with people, you might go up to somebody and be like, "Dude, you're doing that wrong. What the heck?" And then you're like, "No, bro. Like this is what
Yeah.
my PT recommended because I did this." Like it's like, "Oh,
right.
all right, my bad."
Yeah, exactly, you're like, "Oh, okay, alright, yeah, sorry." But,
Yeah.
yeah, I think going to, like, people in a let's say in a gym setting is, like, a lot of them are, a lot of people that go into a gym are very, what's the right way of saying it? They're a little hesitant, maybe their first time
Mhm.
into a gym and stuff like that. And there's some people that go directly to a trainer like, "Hey, I need help. I want help."
Yep.
Other people like, "I want to do this on my own," but they're still kind of uncertain of like what to do or how to do it right or anything. And yeah, then you have some trainers that go up to a person right away like, "You're doing it wrong." And
Yeah.
it scares them away. And then I've talked
Yeah.
to many people throughout the years. They're like, "Yeah, I just, that person was just," and they're doing it, not trying to be mean about it. They're trying to be helpful. That trainer's trying to be helpful to that person, but their approach was wrong or different to
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
you know. So it's knowing that you got to take a little bit of time and just kind of mix and mingle with people and like
Mhm.
kind of like what you were saying before. It's like, "Hey, how you doing? What's going on? Oh, I like that. Where'd you learn that?" And then
Yeah.
you a little conversation,
Exactly.
and then you learn something new or you don't, or like, "Oh, cool. Have you tried this?" And then
Yep.
Yep.
yeah, so
No, yeah, that's yeah. 'Cause, yeah, even the smallest movements or something like that can help people a lot.
Oh,
yeah,
I
absolutely.
mean, people would appreciate it, but it's the way that you approach it. I mean, you can't just go in there, like we said, guns
Sometimes,
a-blazing.
Nick, if you want me to tell you how I usually check
Oh,
somebody, I'll
oh.
be on one end of the gym, and then I'll see something on the other end, and I'll be like, "Hey! You're doing it wrong!" And they're like, "Huh? Tuck in those shoulders!" Or I don't even know what I said. "Come here!" And then I'll sprint over there. "What are you doing?" So, no,
I don't know if I've
That
ever
was one
tried that
time, dude.
approach, but that would be a
me
different way
neither,
of
but it's
doing it.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't be that guy.
Okay. Maybe
Or at
what
least
not
know
to
the
do, all
person.
right?
If you know the person, you could do that. Yeah, embarrass
Yeah,
them a little bit
yeah.
that
If it
way.
was me over there, then yeah, you could do that.
But usually
You could do
whenever
it.
I walk into the gym, I am a little bit more energetic because I
Hmm.
do want people to be able to approach me if they do have any questions because there's a good turnaround there. So if anybody ever does know and they see me because I'm usually mingling and trying to say hi to everybody or whatever it is, especially when I first get there, then after that kind of lock in a little bit. Uh, but just letting everybody know, like, hey, if you need help with anything, like, you guys are more than welcome to come let me know, or if you need a spot, whatever it is, like,
Right.
I'm always available, because usually for a spot, you don't need it. Just when you see me put the weights down, come holler and be, hey, I'm like, no problem, yeah, I got you. Whenever you need my help, just let me know and I'll come help you out. Or if because I know there's a lot of women who are unfamiliar with some of the equipment and are just not really comfortable asking for that assistance. But if they
Yeah.
see somebody like, okay, he seems like a pretty nice guy, and not like Omar a creep, and they usually come up to me and say, "Hey, can you help me?"
But yeah, you're
Absolutely.
you got that open, that open, energetic, type of guy where like, hey, if I need help, I'm gonna go outside. He seems nice. He's out there. He's outgoing, saying
Mhm.
hi to people. That's
Yeah.
for me. Not to get off subject too much, but like I was pretty I'm a pretty shy person, but like for this type of business, you gotta, you can't just sit behind the desk and expect people come to you and be like, oh, I want to
Yep.
hire you, you got to be a
Yeah.
people person. You got to get out there. You got to mix and mingle. You got to talk to people. And, you got to
Mhm.
make them feel comfortable, and there's, I mean, when I first started training, I remember people who have been training for a long time, a lot of their advice was like, just go out and talk to people. Don't
Yeah.
the managers are always about sell, 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 sell. You know,
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
they can buy training. They need it. But then, the ones that have been there for a long time and they're good at what they did and they sold a lot, whatever, they're the ones just go up there and start a conversation with someone,
That
Yeah.
part. Yep.
and get to know them a little bit. Don't even talk to
Mhm.
them about fitness or anything, or maybe
Yep.
let them bring up the questions,
There you go.
about how their
Absolutely.
weekend was or stuff. And those
Absolutely.
over time, maybe it's the next day or maybe it's a month later,
Yep.
but like you said, it's like, "Hey, Brian, I need help, man. Get your ass over here," And like, "All right, gotcha." He's like, "All
No,
right."
Mhm.
I'm scared now.
Yeah. 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 That,
But,
sheesh.
so
So,
with that being
but
said, Nick, I wanna ask you a question, okay? Because we're crunching a little bit on time here. So what I wanna ask you is, so for people or anybody, I guess, that would what kind of piece of advice would you give somebody who maybe is struggling or being hesitant about wanting to work out or make that step into a healthier lifestyle?
I guess my first question, anyone who's hesitant about it is, first of all, ask, why are you hesitant? What's kind of, what's the roadblock keeping you active? A lot of times I think they think they have to do so much in order to be where they want to be, and they may have a long journey in front of them to lose
Mhm.
20, 30, 40, 60 pounds, whatever it may be. But I think that, they're hesitant, like, gosh, this is going to take forever or something like that. Or they're concerned that they don't know what to do the right way and they don't want to get hurt. So I always tell everybody, something's always better than nothing. So, if this is something you want to get back into fitness, so you want to start improving your health, whatever, or start fitness and start being healthy, from the beginning, no matter what age you are, start somewhere, start with
Yep.
a 20-minute walk outside or on a treadmill,
There you go.
mhm.
something small and easy. You don't have to kill yourself from the start. You don't have to put in these hour-long workouts. Some people spend 3 hours in the gym. Hey, that's great if that's what you're all about. But most people don't have that time, right? And a
Yeah.
big thing with my, dad, my niche with the 40 over dads and is many people I talk to is like, all right, what's keeping you from getting back into your fitness? Oh, dude, time, man. I don't have the time to do that anymore. I'm like, well, how much time do you think you need to have? And they're
Mhm.
like, I don't know, hour and a half, 2 hours. I'm like, why? And it's like, you don't need that. And like, you haven't done anything for the last 3 years. Start off with 20 minutes, 3 days a week. And then as you get more consistent, things start to get easier. And, like anything you're trying to do for the first time or, start again, it's that transition period of like, I got to do this again. Oh, I forgot to do that. I forgot, all right, cool. You forgot to get your workout in that day or, you got busy, but start small, a little bit at a time. If you need help with somebody, either have a friend, you're like, hey, can I work out with you? Or, you got the means to hire a trainer, like, hey, and somebody, or, hey, do you have a trainer you recommend? Oh yeah, this guy or this girl. Go
Mhm.
that route too. But yeah, I think people just they think they have to do too much at the beginning, or they have to do too much at all, and like, oh, it's just too
Mhm.
time consuming. It's too much this. It's too much
Mhm.
that. Well, it's really not. Like, you know,
Yep.
you got 20 minutes. I'd rather work out for 20 minutes 5 days a week than then try to think of putting, 3 1 hour days in, or I'm sorry, 3 1 hour. Yeah, 3 days of 1 hour. I'd rather be
Yep.
consistent for a shorter period of time, versus having like, all right, I'm worked out Monday. Now it's Thursday. I got to work out again. Now it's Saturday. I got to work out. No, so yeah, I mean, for that, to answer that question, a long answer, but yeah, just start off slow and start off small and
Absolutely.
gradually build up from there.
Yes.
Yes,
Love that.
sir.
Love that. Like I said, 30
Last
minutes.
thing.
30 minutes is all you need.
Last,
Go ahead, Omar.
Yeah, literally.
oh, the myth buster segment of the show. So, can you tell us a myth that can be busted in the fitness and health realm?
Phew.
Health, fitness, health and wellness.
Let me close my eyes and pick one from somewhere.
Seriously, there's so many.
Yeah, you know what? Here's a big myth, or not a big myth, but here's a myth that's out there. I got two of them actually. One's not really a myth, but one is lately a lot of people have started, like on social media. I'll get to your question in 1 second, but it's in my head.
Okay.
They like, again, frustrated, their dad or whatever. And like, man, every time I see it social media, this fitness guy's talking about he gets up at 5 a.m. to get his workout in before the kids get up, blah, blah, blah. And then the next guy's getting up at 4:30 a.m. And then the next guy's getting up at 3 a.m. He's like, I can't get up at that, I'm like, no, I'm like, that's them, I'm like, you don't
Yep.
need to get up at 3 a.m. and get a workout in for 2 hours. You don't, so,
Mhm.
so in some sense, I think maybe it's a new myth that you have to be up early, and yeah, some people do have to get up early and get their stuff done before the kids get up and, their
Yeah.
day starts. I totally understand that. And I would do that too if that was my schedule. But to go with the myth also is like a lot of people, the body that most people want, they think they can get it in 3 months, a 12-week program, or, 6 months even. You can do some amazing results in 12 weeks if
Yep.
you're disciplined, and it's
Mm-hmm.
easy,
Mhm.
but it's not or I'm saying it's simple, but it's not easy,
Yep.
it's
Yep.
simple what you need to do. It's not easy doing
Mhm.
it. It's not
Yep.
easy
Mhm.
very disciplined at your food every day. It's not
Yep.
easy getting the workouts in every day especially when you got a lot of stuff going on. It's simple because you're like, it's X, Y, and Z is all you need to do, but
Yep.
it's hard to get there. So the myth of the fact that like you can get the body you want in 12 weeks, or even 3 months or so, or I guess that would be 12 weeks, but in a short period of time, most of the bodies
Mhm.
that people want, it takes, 2, 3, 4, 5 years to get there. Again, doesn't mean that they won't have great changes and improve their health, tremendously
Absolutely.
in a shorter period of time. But that's a big, I think, myth that a lot of people are just stuck with. They want, hey, I want to, it's July 1st. I'm going on vacation on July 10th, and I need to lose 15 pounds, and I need to look like this, and I think we can do it. And I'm like, no, you can't.
Yep.
Should have started back in
Just one
January.
foot in front of the
told-
next.
I told you in
Yeah.
January you should have started.
Yep.
Yep.
So
And that's what happens too. That's why people fail is because they're like, oh, I did that, bro. I was working out for this much and I didn't see no difference.
nothing happened. Yeah.
Well,
So yeah, and
well,
realistic goals, and
Absolutely.
yep.
so,
There we
but yeah,
go.
the myths,
Love it,
there's a
dude.
lot of them out there.
Yes.
Yeah, there
yes,
is.
Yes, there is.
We're gonna crack them all. Well,
Absolutely.
most of them, hopefully.
One at
We'll
a
see.
time. One at
One
a time.
One at a
Omar. Calm
time.
down.
One at a time. Oh, we got two this
Hey,
time.
you guys are out west, man.
So
I'm on the East Coast. I mean, it's getting late, but hey, you know what? Let's go one at a time. No,
yeah, peace, dude. Well, I appreciate you coming on, dude.
Absolutely.
That's a lot of awesome stuff.
This is
Yes.
great.
There we go.
It was a lot of fun.
I appreciate
Yes.
you, Nick.
That
It
was
good,
fun.
Good to get to know
Hey.
you. I appreciate the story.
Absolutely.
Y'all need to follow NLC Fitness. All
Yes.
right.
Yes.
Get some training in. That's
There you go.
right.
There
There
it
we
is.
go.
Get you some
Yeah.
merch. Get you some
Boom.
merch too.
Yeah, I got it.
Oh, I saw that one.
I got ebooks. I got programs.
Oh yeah, the ebooks.
Oh.
Yep. He's got it
on
all.
social media, NLC Fitness on Instagram. You go on there, see the stand store, jump on that. There's ebooks. There's workout programs. There's another thing. I know we're getting short in time, but
You're good. You're
I've
good.
done recently is GLP-1s are a big thing, right?
Yeah.
Huge. Everyone's, a lot of people are doing it. So I started a new account called GLP Nick, and it's just an account that I'm trying to obviously tailor towards GLP-1 users and the importance of doing it the right way. A lot of people
Mhm.
think I'm losing weight, I'm not working out, but I'm losing the weight so I don't have to work out. But they don't realize what really is happening in the body. And what kind of a negative effect it could be for them in the long
Yep.
run. So, but anyway, yeah,
Very
you
true.
can go to NLC Fitness. I got a stand store, I got all that stuff, in there. And you can always shoot me a DM on Instagram or TikTok. You have any questions, I'm always answering them. I'm here to help. So, I mean, if
Is
it
that
gets to the point
is
where,
that your merch?
what's that?
Is that your merch on there? The DILF one?
Yes, I was gonna wear that shirt today. My wife was like, "No,
No.
don't wear that." And I'm like, "Yes, I gotta wear that." But it was
Come on.
it was in
That
the
was cool.
watch machine, actually. Oh yeah,
Yeah, dad's in love with fitness, Brian.
Dad's in
Don't
love
get
with
your head in
fitness.
That's
the
what it
gutter,
was.
dude.
See, I seen the deal, but I was like, okay, whatever. I like it.
I
awesome.
came up with. I was like, "This is great." I'm like, I loved, I'm like, Dad in love with fitness. I'm like, why not MILF? MILF, mom in love with fitness. I'm like,
There you go.
Boom.
Yep.
great.
You're gonna get some weird looks.
You do.
Especially in
You
Miami.
do a little bit of weird looks, and it's tough. You go to the store and they're like, "Oh," and I'm like, "Yeah, Dad in love with."
Ah,
Gotta
Yeah,
change
so
the
calm
narrative.
hey,
down.
get some looking. There we go. Hey, Nick. Hey, cheers to health.
Cheers to health, brother.
Cheers,
Appreciate you
cheers,
again.
cheers.
You take care of
Yes,
yourself.
thank
We'll
you.
keep in touch.